What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to VETZ Help. Uh, Last week we started a new segment where we started talking about a topic. There is life after the army. This is part two of that. Thank you for tuning in. I appreciate it. I hope that we continue to share this video. I wanted to share something that I thought about after I made the first video. Um, 22 veterans a day commit suicide. That's not saying that if the veteran is in the military or whether or not that veteran has already retired or they somehow left the military separated or something like that. These videos that I'm making, I want to make sure that I'm able to assist somebody, because a lot of times when we transition away from the military, we leave a part of ourselves, and it's kind of like leaving a shell a little bit. And that could lead to forms of depression, or we could separate and not really seek treatment for the things that we need to get help with concerning deployments or whatever may be bothering you, and you may be dealing with some type of mental health issues or something like that. You may be dealing with mental health issues simply because of the fact that now you are no longer in the military and you are separated from what you've known for so long. So I just want to make sure that I let you all know that these videos that I'm making are not just to say that, oh, well, you need to get out of the military. You need to, you need to find a way to live after you get out of the military. No, I'm trying to help you to establish a plan for yourself once you leave the military, because I know that the transition away from everything that you once knew can be very difficult. Even like I said, in the video that I talked about last week, coming out of the military can be difficult within itself. Once you get to the point of actually getting out, it can become surreal to the point where it can leave you with a lot of anxiety, regardless of how much you've done, But the last thing that I want anybody to do is to think that they can't make it out here and think that their life is over. Or furthermore, they've reached a breaking point to where they become one of those 22 veterans. So this video that I'm making, I hope that this segment that I'm making, I hope that it reaches the people that it needs to. And I hope that you're able to find what you need in these videos. So let's continue to dive in. I don't mean to start on that note. I know that that's pretty deep, but at the end of the day, we have to take care of our veterans, because if we don't take care of our veterans, if us veterans don't take care of our veterans, then we can't expect nobody else to take care of us. And because nobody really understands the depths of what we face and what we really go through outside of us. They don't know what PTSD is. They don't know what, dealing with bodily ailments that continue to cause issues every day, that creates just distractions in your daily life that becomes debilitating to the point that you can't get out of bed. They don't know about that type of stuff. That's stuff that we deal with. That's stuff that we continuously deal with. It doesn't matter how old you are. We continue to deal with those types of things. And I'm here right now to tell you that there is life after the military, and I want you to make sure that you're doing everything that you need to do in order to be able to live out your best life at this point. You've served your country, and now it's time to pay yourself back. So let's get back into it. All right. So last week we talked about job search. We talked about resume building. We talked about finding a job that you like if you're planning to work. And then we talked a little bit about applying for school. But the topics that we talked about We didn't really dive into that. I know that I said that I was going to talk about that, but I think that the topics that we covered, I feel like that was just enough before we dive into the next segment. So let's go ahead and talk about that, because today what we're getting ready to do, we're getting ready to dissect school. We're getting ready to talk about applying for school. We're going to talk about the GI Bill and VRE. And then we're going to talk about deciding the state that you want to live in. All right. So let's go ahead and dive into it. All right. A lot of you, some of you may have already went to school, started going to school while you're already in and everything. But some of you are planning on going to school now that you're out of the military, or excuse me, now that you're transitioning out of the military, you're planning on going to school, or doing some, going to college or doing some type of trade or something like that. And you're trying to decide on where you want to go. How does your GI Bill work? You've heard of the GI Bill. You've paid into your GI Bill. And now it comes time for you to use it. You've been using tuition assistance while you've been in the military. And now it's time for you to use tuition assistance. All right, and not tuition. Excuse me. I'm sorry, man. I'm my words are all over the place tonight. Excuse me. So now you started using your GI Bill or VRE. So what we'll first talk about is your GI Bill. So your GI Bill is going to pay up to 36 months of college. All right. Um, with the GI Bill, if you're a full-time student, you will receive BAH, and that's going to be based on the area in which you live in. Online students, I want you to know that there is a fixed rate. I don't have the particular rate right now as it went up. So I believe that it was roughly within like the 950s last year. So now it's probably over 1,000 this year due to inflation. So the increase in that, I know that VRE has also went up. So I want to assume it's 2023. I want to assume that that also went up as well. But I would ask for you to check with the VA to find out for sure for online, because I'm not using the GI Bill. I'm using VRE to pay for the remainder of my college. And hey, look, I gotta give a shout out to myself. I'm getting ready to finish up with my master's degree. I'm getting ready to finish up with my master's degree in like maybe 4 more months. So hey, I'm happy about that. I don't plan on going back to school again. I don't want to go back to school again. So I'm glad. I'm happy right now because I've attained such a large goal, and that makes me so proud of myself. And listen, if you've been through a master's program, then you understand exactly what I'm saying. I've never written so many papers in my life. I've never written so many papers in my life, but it's well worth it. It's paying off in my career, so I'm happy about that. I will be attending my graduation soon, and I hope to take many photos, and maybe even like maybe post a slideshow or something like that on the channel. I don't know, but I'll see what I'll do. But enough about me and more about life after the military. So yeah, so for the GI Bill, it's gonna pay your tuition to public schools, and then for private schools, it's gonna pay up to about maybe $26,000 for private colleges and things like that. So if you're planning on going to a private school or something like that after you leave the military, then it's gonna pay that much for you. And then, like I said, you can still use the GI Bill to get certifications. So if, say for instance, you've gotten your degrees while you were in the military, you got your bachelor's degree. For example, my degree falls under human resource management. Okay, so a lot of people, they want to go and get the SHRM or the PSHRM and things like that, those type of certifications, which is the SHRM is Society of Human Resource Management. And that is a good certification to have to put on your resume, because it shows that you possess the the etiquette. You possess the skills that is necessary for you to perform duties at a higher level within the HR field. So employers really like that, and a lot of them, they prefer for you to have that, especially, man, if you have a master's degree and then you have a SHRM on top of that. You need to apply for higher level jobs, because if you apply for low level um, positions, there's going to be a chance that you don't get it, just because of the fact that, man, you have out qualified yourself for the particular position. So you need to make sure that you're applying for the right jobs at that point, because I'm telling you, you can come to a point where and how can I say it? More so it's about the money. It's really about the money. It's going to be about the pay and everything for the position. So you've outpriced yourself for that particular position. All right. So just keep that in mind, you know, because whenever you apply for jobs, a lot of times it's like, oh, well, I was very qualified for that job. Yeah, you might have been very qualified for that job, but they know that because you are very qualified for that job, you're going to cost a lot of money. So just keep that in mind, and it doesn't mean to shy away from what your skill set is and stuff like that. But, um, these companies, that's just, sometimes that's how they look at things. So, utilize your GI Bill. Make sure that, um, you know, uh, you are going to school, enrolling in the classes, and you are actually taking those classes. Do not enroll into class and then think, oh yeah, I'm gonna get this, I'm gonna drop this class and I'm gonna get my GI Bill. I'm gonna get my I'm gonna get my BAH and everything. No, you're not. No, you're not. You drop a class. If you drop a class, you don't take it, you're not gonna get the BAH. I'm telling you right now. If you don't take classes, if you don't show up, more so, if you don't show up to class, you're not gonna get your BAH. Okay, you're not gonna get the BAH. So just make sure that, man, just show up to class. Just show up to class. If you're not doing anything else, it gives you something to be occupied by. So just make sure that you are showing up to class and doing what you need to do. All right. What else? We talked about finding jobs that you like. Uh, when applying for school, make sure that you apply for a program that you like, a program that you find interesting. Do not apply for something that is like, okay, well, yeah, I like it, but I don't know if I really see myself doing it, and it's just something that I'm doing right now. Look, I'm telling you right now, all right. A lot of times, and I know that a lot of people do it. I know a lot of people do it, but do not do this. Do not do this with your GI Bill. Okay, a lot of people do this in the military, because especially in the Army, it provides us with the promotion points. It doesn't work that way, man. Do not use your GI Bill to go to school for something just so that you can get the BAH. Come on, man. Don't do that. If you're going to go to school for something that is going to help you towards a career, because 36 months is, that's going to run out. That's going to run out. And then what do you do? And then what do you do? All right. So make sure that you're going to school. Excuse me. Make sure that you are going to school for something that you actually want to do. So, if you want to go to school for something that you did while you were in the Army, if you want to go to school for mechanics, if you want to go to school for IT, if you want to go to school for medical, something within, I don't know, if whatever you want to go to school for, even if you want to go to, for me, when I first came into the Army, I was mortuary affairs. I was going to college for sports management. That's what I wanted to do. I was going to college for sports management, and business. And that's what I wanted to do. I wanted to become a sports agent and open up the largest company for sports. And that was what I wanted to do. It had absolutely nothing to do with mortuary affairs. Okay? So that's what I'm saying. You don't have to go to school for what you left the military doing, whatever your MOS was. But please don't go to school for just something like general studies and use your GI Bill to do it. Oh my God, that's so weird. That's so weird. I'm not judging you. If you're doing that out there right now, all I will ask is that you please stop. Please stop. Please stop. Don't do that, because that's no. Just don't do that. All right. Um so yeah, so don't 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 just use your GI Bill to go to school and not get anything out of it. All right? Because once your GI Bill runs out, then what are you going to do? The point of it is to get a job. And that's a great segue into VRNE. Great segue into VRNE, because VRNE is just for that. You know, it's just for that. Medical Evaluation Board personnel. This is where these videos started, talking about the Medical Evaluation Board. If you are in the Medical Evaluation Board and you have not heard from a counselor from VRNE, then you need to try to figure out who those people are and speak with them. Because I'm telling you right now, they should be reaching out to you to help you to see if you qualify for the VRNE program. VRNE is vocational rehabilitation and education. That's what it's for. Listen, so with the vocational rehabilitation and education program, it's not just simply for you to go to school. They are there to assist you to rehab yourself, to get you, because you became disqualified to continue military service. As part of your medical evaluation board, whether you were separated or you were retired, their job is to get you to a point of rehabilitation while also providing you with the educational resources, such as tuitional assistance or whatever else you need, to propel you within your educational prowess to complete your degree program or certification or whatever, to get you back into the workforce. So that's what VRNE is for. So if you're coming into VRNE and you're like, you know, you're talking to your counselor and you're like, oh yeah, you know, I just want to use it to go to school and get money to go to school and stuff like that. Yeah, no. Nah, that's not what it's for. It's for you to get back out into the workforce because you were injured within the military and you are getting ready to lose your job. In layman's terms, that's what's happening. You're getting ready to lose your job, and it's not not based on something that you can control. We talked about inevitabilities last week. So it's not based on something that you can control. So you're getting ready to lose your job. So now VRNE is there to assist you in making sure that you are able to get the certifications or qualifications that you need for whatever it is that you want to go to school for to do, but it's only going to be within the limitations of your disabilities. That's what VRNE is. The difference between VRNE and the GI Bill, and one thing that I like so much about VRNE versus the GI Bill, is that VRNE will cover the total cost of all the books. For your books, VRNE will pay for it. The GI Bill only pays up to $250. They pay a stipend, a book stipend of $250, and that's like per semester. You know, and if you're on, like I said, if you're an online student or whatever, every time you start new classes, you know, they'll pay it. The only thing about that is if you're taking 3 or 4 classes and you're only getting $250, that's not. College books are expensive. College books are very expensive, especially when you get in the master's program. They are expensive. You know, when I was using my GI Bill, because I had to use my GI Bill because it was just a lot of trouble trying to find the right college with using tuition assistance. So I was using my GI Bill before I even, got into the medical evaluation board. So it was just very expensive. It was very, oh my God, it was very expensive to try to find a good school and everything like that. But, it wasn't even just that. It was just trying to find the program that I really liked. And, yeah, I had to end up coming out of pocket sometimes, y'all. I had to end up coming out of pocket sometimes to pay for my books, but VRNE, thank God, they pay for that, to cover the cost of books. As I told you guys earlier in the video, and I said enough about myself, and let's talk about life after the military. I want to jump back to talking about myself just a little bit more, right quick. But this right here is going to be something that's going to be talking about you as well. But I'm going to talk about myself. All right, my graduation is April 29th. Okay. Good thing about VRNE is that they said that yeah, you should go. You should go. Only thing I have to pay for to go up there is gonna be like my plane ticket, all my travel and stuff like that, hotel and everything like that. But everything as far as cost for the graduation, and all of that stuff, petition to graduate, all of those things, they cover. They cover tuition and fees. Remember those terms, tuition and fees. So fees for graduation, fees for cap and gown, fees for whatever, books, those are fees, all of those tuition and fees, it's allocated to those types of things. So yeah, go to your graduations. Go to your graduation. I don't care if you're an online student or not. Go to your graduation. It's going to be the biggest accomplishment of your life. So make sure that you attend your graduation. If you have more questions about GI Bill and VRNE, please make sure that you leave your questions. Oh, I went ahead and I created the email for the VETZ Help channel. So please do not hesitate to go ahead and send me an email, and I promise you we'll get in touch. If you have a question about the medical evaluation board, I promise you that it will continue to be confidential, and I will make sure that we get in touch and you let me know what's going on with your medical evaluation board. Again, everybody's medical evaluation board is different, but there's certain parts of the process that's pretty much law. All right. So, in terms of how you get there, that's what the difference is really going to be. So those scenarios can vary, but there's parts of the process that's going to be law. All right. So if you have questions about the medical evaluation board, you can email me at vetshelpmilitary@gmail.com. Again, that's vetshelpmilitary@gmail.com. I look forward to hearing your emails. So please make sure that you email me about that if you have more questions about VRNE. All right. So let's get into our last topic of the day: deciding a place to live. Ooh, hey, look, I already know where I'm gonna go, y'all. I already know. Right now, I'm still here in North Carolina, but I'm going back to Florida, guys. I'm going back to Florida. I love it down there. The weather's great, and I can't wait to get back down there. I cannot wait. I cannot wait to get back down there. I'm moving back down this summer, and I couldn't be more happy. Couldn't be more happy. I'm actually going down there in the spring. So my daughter's spring break is coming up, and I'm going down. I can't wait, man. I can't wait. Woo! Yeah, yeah. Um, the good thing about Florida though, matter of fact, never mind. Never mind. But anyways, we'll talk about that in a second. But when finding a place to live, especially as a veteran with 100% VA disability, medical disability, um, when you decide a place to live, a couple key factors that you need to look into is what type of benefits does the state provide for veterans. Okay, um, cost of living, taxes, things like that. There are certain states, Florida for one of them, Texas, and also California that I know of, that does not have state taxes. All right. So as a veteran, if you are planning on living in one of those states, for one, you don't have to worry about paying state taxes, and that's for residents. No, not California. Excuse me, not California. I'm sorry, guys. I got that completely wrong. But I know for a fact, Florida and Texas. Oh, California, heck no, heck no. But Texas and Florida does not have state taxes. Um, so yeah, but what I was trying to say, what I was thinking about, was concerning property taxes. Okay, and we'll get into that in a second. But that's a benefit that no resident in that state has to worry about paying for. Okay, so and then another one is look at your states, because whenever you are a disabled veteran, and now we're talking about property taxes, when you're a disabled veteran at 100%, or at whatever percent you are, there are certain percentages that you can get off of paying for your property taxes. So if you buy a home, there is a certain percentage that you don't have to worry about paying for. Okay. Um, in the state of Florida, it's up to 100% property tax exemption. So you don't have to worry about paying for your property taxes in the state of Florida. You're exempt from paying property taxes in the state of Florida. So that's a great benefit for me, because when I buy my house, I don't have to worry about paying taxes. Here in North Carolina, I own my home here, but you only get as 100% medically uh, excuse me, I can't even talk tonight. At 100% VA disabled veteran, as a 100% disabled veteran, you are only allotted taxes off of the first $45,000 for your house. All right, so you have to look into those things. All right, it is a app, not an app, but it's a website that is out there, and it's called Smart Asset. Smart Asset is a good tool to use to determine salaries and things like that for your particular state, the type of income that you will make versus your taxes. So if you've never heard of it, you should probably try to use it. It's called Smart Asset. I use it a lot to determine, okay, well, if I move to this state, what is my salary going to be? How much will my salary increase? And man, salaries, based on where you live, your salary is going to either increase or is going to decrease. So, based on how much you're making, that's a key factor to play into that. If you are receiving your VA disability, then yeah, you're not going to get taxed on that. But if you're receiving your retirement, then that might play a factor. Excuse me, if you are working, for one, if you're working, that might play a factor into how much you receive in that state. So, based on where you are employed at, um, just keep that in mind, guys. Uh, Also, what type of resources do that state provide to you? In terms of VA hospitals, facilities, things like that, treatment that you need for your family as well. You know, you look at the different programs and stuff like that you have in the military for exceptional family member programs and stuff like that. So different places that you were able to be stationed, or different places you might not have been able to be stationed because of the lack of resources for a particular family member. Continue to remember that, because that's going to continue to go in terms of the state that you live in, whether it's for you or whether it's for one of your family members. So make sure that you check into those things. Also, check into, settle down with your spouse one night, or whenever, and just talk about um, you know, their their needs and necessities, for uh deciding a place to move. Because you've been, for one, if you are with a person that has not been in the military, they've been following you around your whole entire career. Whether or not it was the last 4 years or whatever. Sit down with them and come to a compromise of what's the best place to go for you and your family. Um, Also, um, just factor in, if you have kids, factor that in too, because certain states, if you're at 100%, your kids can go to college in that state for free. All right. So it's a lot of things to factor in, and that you should look up. I think that what will sum this completely up is look into um, um, uh, veteran benefits, by state. So you need to look into benefits for veterans, or um, benefits for disabled veterans by state, or try to maybe call a VSO within that particular state. They might be able to talk to you about it, or something like that. Go on YouTube, just like you're watching me, and watch some videos for the state that you're planning on going to. And that's what I did. That's how I found out about the benefits in the state of Florida. I went in to find benefits for disabled veterans in the state of Florida. A couple of things about the state of Florida is that, as a veteran that is 100% disabled and that has disabled veteran plates, you don't have to have a parking decal to go inside of your vehicle. You are free to park in a handicapped parking space with a disabled veteran tag. And you can also get free parking at the airport as well, as a disabled veteran in the state of Florida. Um, So that's something to keep in mind. You just look into these types of things, do your research, look up information, see what, like I said, and even with housing, sometimes, different states, they may provide you with low cost housing or something like that. If you're not quite ready to buy a house, you know, just look into the state that you're planning on going to and find out, what type of benefits and things like that they provide. But most of all, find a state that you really want to live in. Don't go to a state just because your family lives there or something like that, or you want to go back close to home. Find a state that, hey, you might have traveled there during your time in the military. It's like, I could see myself really living here. Maybe you take a trip, 1 or 2 weeks, you know, and go and visit that place that you plan on living in. Talk to a couple realtors, something like that. Learn more about the area, and just look on websites like Niche, which will or Area Vibes. Um, in my military career, that's one that I really used a lot, was Area Vibes. To look, it's a website called Area Vibes, and it would tell you about the ratings, and the grades for crime, education, employment, housing, livability, just all of that type of stuff. It will tell you, and about that particular area. So, um, depending on where you go, it might not always be so accurate most of the time. Well, not most of the time, but sometimes. Um, but I mean, it's a good tool to use. Obviously, most of what you'll want to do is go and check out the area for yourself, because if you're going to be living there for essentially the next maybe 10 years at least, you want to make sure that you're in an area that you want to stay in, especially if you have kids, and especially if your kids are school age kids. You want to make sure that they're able to go to school and get a education that's going to be conducive to them going to school, them going to college. So just keep that in mind. Yeah, so we talked about We talked more about applying for school. Talked about deciding a state to live in. We talked about the GI Bill and VRNE. And then I think next week what we're going to dive into is finding a hobby, getting involved in clubs for veterans such as like FRG, American Legion, stuff like that. And then, yeah, getting involved in the community as well. So we'll discuss like community programs and all that type of stuff. So um, it's a lot of stuff that we're gonna unwrap here, man. Like I said, I want to make sure that we're touching everybody that we need to touch. Okay, it's a lot of stuff for us veterans to dive into, and we are just scratching the surface of our actual lives. You know, you are such an asset to everyone around you. You know, you have went into the military and you've accomplished something that not many people can do. You know, you are the 1% of like the 1%. So just make sure that you know you continue to keep that in mind, and you be proud of that. You be proud of that, and if you can't relate to the people that are around you, then a lot of times that we may be able to relate to um, their what they're feeling. You know, especially in terms of like when we talk to somebody is what I mean. You may be able to relate to what they're feeling when we're talking to somebody about just trying to break away from uh, those emotions uh, that comes over us. And I guess what I really mean by that is uh, you come to a place when you leave the military that you start to realize like, dang man, I'm really out. I'm really out. I feel kind of lonely. I don't know what to expect now. I don't know, who to contact. But uh, you know, or who I can speak with about, maybe if you, like I said, if you're dealing with or you're battling with different issues such as mental health or just stuff that happened in the military. Not all the time you're going to be able to relate to civilians with those types of things, but that doesn't mean that you can't relate to them in terms of just everyday life. You know what I mean? And um, everybody goes through different things. So don't. For one, what I don't want you to do is to undermine what other people go through just because they weren't in the military. Because what happens is you may miss some key points of that. And you know, granted, they haven't faced what you have. They haven't been through what you've been through in the same way, but they may have experienced the same types of trauma, the same types of symptoms. So that's where you can find a relationship between that. So just keep that in mind, and don't ever hesitate to reach out to a veteran, and definitely don't ever hesitate to send a message to me. Again, we got the Gmail set up, so I want you all to tap in with me. Make sure you leave a comment, like, subscribe, hit the notification bell so that you can see whenever I upload my next video. I really appreciate everybody that's tuning in to watch my videos, and I plan on keeping them coming. And I hope that I'm reaching somebody, and I hope that I'm reaching the right people. So you all have a good rest of your night. Enjoy your weekend. Today is Friday. Excuse me, not Veterans Day, but Valentine's Day was earlier this week. So I know a lot of you, since it was on a weekday, are trying to celebrate Valentine's Day. So happy belated Valentine's Day to you. And you know, on Monday we have President's Day. So happy long weekend to you, with the federal holidays and everything. And, I hope to see you in the next video. I hope that you're enjoying the videos and you're getting a lot out of it from most of all. But again, continue to like, comment, share, and subscribe to my channel. Hit the notification bell. And please, if you need somebody to talk to, if you're a veteran and you need somebody to talk to, about what you may be experiencing as you transition, or after you have already transitioned, if you have questions, not just between that, but if you have questions at all, just don't hesitate to reach out. Again, the channel, the email is vetshelpmilitary@gmail.com. That's vetshelpmilitary@gmail.com. You all have a good rest of your night. I'm out of here.